everyone, Lean and Green Queen here. I just wanted to drop in and let you know that this particular video has 3 separate recipes. They were not they weren't super long recipes, so they didn't take up a whole amount of time, and I'm trying to do about 10 minutes per video that I post on YouTube. So I just went ahead and did a triple, if you want to call it such. The first one is going to be what's called crack chicken, but it's also ranch chicken or creamy ranch chicken, crockpot chicken, whichever you want to call it. And the next one you're going to see is a mustard crusted pork loin with cabbage on the side. It's kind of a pickled cabbage, not sauerkraut, but kind of a pickled cabbage. Ginger wants to say hello. She insists on my attention as I talk with you. And the next one is going to be what I made yesterday. It's egg roll in a bowl. Very good. When I was not on this plan, I would not have eaten an egg roll in a bowl because it just didn't seem to taste or have the flavors that I would enjoy. However, I did sneak a sample last night after cooking it, and it was delicious, truly delicious. So really sincerely hope that you enjoy these recipes, and they aren't terribly hard to make as far as the quickness and speed of them. So if you're a busy person, busy mom, and you just need something quick to fix, here's an option for you. Hope you have a great day, and Ginger says bye. Good morning, everyone. So this has been cooking for 8 hours, and I turned it to keep warm about 6 o'clock this morning. So as you see, it tender chicken. It cooked. It's gonna stay on keep warm for some of the day just to kind of marinate in its juices, and then my husband is gonna turn it off, and I'll show you what we're gonna add next. So if you remember correctly, I added this chicken with ranch dressing, ranch powder, and cream cheese into a crock pot and cooked it for 6 to 8 hours on low. That same night, we were going to crumble it up and add turkey bacon to it, but unfortunately, we ran into life, and put it in the fridge for a couple of days. So now I'm going to refresh it in the skillet and serve it over some spaghetti squash. Turkey bacon does go in the recipe, so I'm going to go ahead and add that and green onions after. And I'm going to add a little bit of mozzarella cheese just to top it off to give it an ooey gooey flavor. Please check your lean and greens, and I'll add the recipe after this particular video for you. Okay, so as you can see, I added the chicken. I'm cooking for 2. So I measured out the chicken, and this is going to be equivalent to the 12 ounces for 2. And there's a smidge left over of the reduced fat cream cheese that was in there. So that's being cooked in. I did add a smidge of water to rehydrate the chicken, because what ended up happening is it got a little bit dry from keeping warm for so long. So I rehydrated the chicken, just kind of mixing around the cream cheese. That way it can kind of cook down and melt. And then I'm going to turn off the stove, add a little bit of mozzarella, the skim reduced fat mozzarella in here so it can melt. All right. I would say that that's not even a quarter of a cup actually of mozzarella. And then as you see, turkey strips here. The recipe does call for turkey bacon. So I'm going to crumble, and you'll see the amounts in the recipe that I attached to the back. I'm going to crumble some turkey bacon in here, And then chop some green onions and add that to the top once I add this on to the spaghetti squash. So this is the final recipe. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you attempt to cook it. Let us know how you like it when you do. Thank you. Hey everyone, Lean and Green Queen here. Tonight I'm actually going to do a recipe that I'm simply going to use for refrigerated or freezer meals to be able to bring to my birth mom and a friend of ours who's on program but is not able to really cook a lot for themselves. So it's going to be pork loin crusted with mustard and seasonings and a side of cabbage, cooked cabbage on the side. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the steps as I do them, but you won't see me so much tonight. Right, so here's the pork loin that I have. I actually picked up this pork loin at Super One Foods on clearance. And with clearance meat, if you're not going to use it that day, I typically put it directly in the freezer. So the recipe calls for 1 3/4 pound tenderloin, and this is 2.7 pound tenderloin. So I'm going to add a little bit more than what the recipe calls for ingredient wise, just to make sure that it gets a full seasoning. All right, so the recipe called for crusting or adding a layer of salt and pepper on the top of the loin and the bottom. However, one person I'm cooking for is allergic to black pepper. So I went ahead and added salt as well as everything bagel seasoning. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add the mustard, which is the stone ground mustard. I got the organic kind to be placed on top of the loin. And I'll be back to show you what it looks like. So as you see here, I kind of iced the top of the pork loin with the mustard just to give it a nice little even look. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the cabbage on the other side of the roasting pan so that it doesn't touch the raw pork, and then place it in a 400-degree oven and let it cook for about 25 to 35 minutes.
Okay, so real quick, just a little addendum. One of the cool things about using like mustard on pork is the fact that the mustard goes away. Most of the flavor goes away. But what's left is it allows the seasoning to stick really well to the pork. So it adds a nice glaze and flavor to it.
Okay, so now for the cabbage. I'm gonna go ahead and add the apple cider vinegar. Everything bagel seasoning, it actually calls for caraway seeds, but I could not find those in the local store. So I'm gonna go ahead and just sub the everything bagel. And I'm gonna add some olive oil in and mix it all up together and then place it. All right, everyone, so it ended up taking almost 40 minutes to get it to cook, but it is double the size of what the recipe calls for. So I didn't think 40 minutes was too bad. It actually cuts really easily, almost like butter, and has a delicious flavor to it. And here is the cabbage that was cooked as well, and it's definitely got a zing to it. So like I said, I'm going to be packing this up for someone who definitely would be blessed by having it cooked for them. So I hope you have a great night, and the recipe will be in this as well. Bye-bye. Hey everyone, back again. Hope here, Lean and Green Queen. So glad that you're joining us. Today we're going to do egg roll in a bowl. So you're gonna see me ground the turkey first, and I am going to go ahead and then add the garlic, ginger, and soy sauce into the ingredients. So I'll be back. All right, so the ground turkey is browned. I'm adding the tricolor cabbage that the recipe calls for into the ground turkey. I'm gonna let it sit. The juices from the ground turkey are actually going to marinate in to this cabbage. I'm gonna let it slowly cook in. Cover it up. And then add some more cabbage once it shrinks down. Isn't that a beautiful cabbage? All right, I'll be back. All right, so I added the second bag of cabbage, and I'm gonna let it cook down, but I'm also going to go ahead and add the ginger, the sesame seed oil, and the soy sauce that I mixed up. Well, I think I might actually have to add a little, yep, I'm gonna have to mix some more of it just to get it to cover the container, or I'm sorry, the pan. So I'll go ahead and add some more, and I'll be back to show you the final result. All right, everyone, as you can see, the dish is done here. And I added some cut green onions, turned off the heat, and I'm just kind of letting it marinate in its flavors, and then I'll take a picture and serve it up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful evening.